Welcome back, everybody. This is the Now Morning Show on TTT. We are also live on Talk City 91.1 FM and on Facebook at TTT Live Online. We are going to talk this morning about coastal protection, what is being done to protect our coasts. I have with me Maritza Harry, who is the Project Research Officer at the Coastal Protection Unit. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
What is happening with this unit? It's been around for a while. What is it doing to protect our coast?
Okay, well, we are the Coastal Protection Unit of the Ministry of Works and Transport. We were established in 2014, and we were charged with the mandate of protecting vulnerable coastal communities from coastal erosion and coastal flooding through the implementation of sustainable shoreline management strategies. In terms of the work that we do, we have two types of work. We have physical interventions, such as the construction of hard engineering solutions. So we have work being conducted in Sans Souci, Matlots. We have works in Cocos, South Cocos, even Southwest Trinidad. And we also do conduct feasibility studies and vulnerability studies as well.
Since 2014 to now, what sort of work has been completed?
So, like I said, we've completed certain physical structures, such as the Manzanillo Beach facility. We've recently completed works in the Quinam area. We're currently doing works in Capdeville area, as well as Sans Souci and Matlots. So those type of works are boots on the ground works. It's basically the construction of revetments and hard engineering structures.
And we hear concerns about coastal erosion all the time.
Yes.
If you look down in the Mayaro area, you mentioned
Yes.
Manzanillo project.
Yes.
What is being done in those areas and on the North Coast as well?
So in terms of the North Coast, we have the Matlots shoreline stabilization works being conducted because the road, it's so close to the shoreline, it's collapsing, it's being claimed by the sea if we don't do anything, if we don't intervene. So we are providing a means of protecting the shoreline by putting a strong infrastructure to combat or to slow down coastal erosion. In terms of the same project is a similar project on the East Coast as well, in South Cocos and Cocos area.
The amount of people and resources, other resources that would go into this, how much is it?
Oh, well, we are small units we have a small unit, so we tend to engage other contractors to do the actual works for us. So in terms of like this CNCMP, we have the Comprehensive National Coastal Monitoring Program. We've engaged the Coastal Dynamics Limited, which is an environmental firm, to execute this project. And the project will basically, it's a multi-phase, it's a 3-year strategy, basically that seeks to map out a sustainable solution to combat coastal erosion and coastal flooding. It'll basically be like to act as a central repository for coastal data.
And you mentioned flooding, coastal flooding.
Yes.
How does that affect us? What exactly is
coastal
happening?
flooding, it's basically the advancement of water of the sea onto the shoreline. So people who live on the coastline will know about coastal flooding when the tide comes in and it basically washes away their property. It damages their homes. That's coastal erosion.
There was an incident recently in the Mayaro Manzanillo stretch there where the water actually came onto the road. Would that be classified under coastal flooding as well?
There were different factors that contributed to the damage to that road. That the inundation of the swamp behind the road, that would have been a major contribution to it. But coastal erosion is also another factor as well.
What is going to take place to prevent coastal erosion or try to ease it as much as we can?
So, well, with this the Comprehensive National Coastal Monitoring Program, we plan to, like I said, execute a sustainable solution to managing the coastline. So we want to with the CNCMP, the Comprehensive Coastal Monitoring Program, we'll be able to identify, the risks, the area. We'll be able to prioritize areas that need critical attention. We can collect the data so that coastal managers can make informed decisions about choosing the best coastal management strategy. In terms of the CNCMP as well, we hope to engage the public through a stakeholder engagement strategy so that they can become more aware of the impacts of coastal erosion and coastal flooding, because as a small island state, we don't have the luxury of, retreating inland. We simply just don't have the space. So with the CNCMP, we will be able to identify the best solutions and, the most feasible solutions.
What does our data show right now?
Our data shows that coastal erosion, it's happening in Trinidad and Tobago. In some areas, such as Madlot, or the North Coast, I should say, as much as 300 meters squared of land has been lost in data going back to 1998. There have been some observations that in Shore of Peace has been as much as 440 acres of land that's been disappearing. So, it's occurring.
What are the projections? Any projections?
I don't know what the projections are, but I can tell you based on the trends, coastal erosion, it doesn't seem to be slowing down. It's going to continue.
And
yes.
We're in the rainy season as well. What can people do?
In terms of the rainy season,
high tides and
yes, or in terms of high tides, like people, they can do their part in protecting their homes. If they need advice on how to protect their homes, they can call us at the Coastal Protection Unit. Or they can visit our website for more information.
Yeah. Now, there was an article that was written not too long ago in one of the daily newspapers saying that between 1994 and 2014, almost 50 acres of the Caroni mangrove has been washed away by coastal erosion as well. We talked about the sea itself, but in terms of the swamps and that kind of thing.
So the swamp is a major, it's a natural barrier to coastal erosion and coastal flooding. So without the swamp, as you said, 50 acres has disappeared. That is very alarming, and intervention should be done to protect the swamp because it's a cheaper form of protecting inland from intense weather conditions, especially with climate change and intensifying weather conditions.
And I'm sure this Coastal Protection Unit of the Ministry of Works and Transport will be continuing to work to protect our coast.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Marista Harry,
No
Project Research Officer of the Coastal Protection Unit, Ministry of Works and Transport, for joining us this morning. Important and informative discussion.